Let's start things off with an honorable mention, and that pair is the New Balance 992. So purely for the purposes of illustrating a point, I'm using the only pair of 992s that I have for this portion of the video, and yes, this is a very limited and exclusive pair of 992, so it's not a pair that you can walk into the store to grab, but that's the reason why this shoe is an honorable mention and not actually on the top 10 list itself. Although even if you're not grabbing this limited edition colorway of the 992s, 992s in general are pretty hard to find in store. The 992 originally released back in 2006 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of New Balance. The shoe is made up of incredibly high quality materials like the suedes used on the overlays of the upper. In addition to that, the shoe features absorbed cushioning in the heel, which makes it pretty soft underfoot. The upper of the shoe is well padded, which works really well with the midsole padding to make it a very comfortable all-day sneaker. And in addition to the premium materials, just the style and the aesthetics of this shoe are so clean. And that's not only me who thinks that. The 992 is also the iconic sneaker that Steve Jobs would wear on a day-to-day basis because it looked good and it felt good on feet. Over the last few years, the 992 has hit icon status among sneakerheads, and in addition to having the incredibly popular gray Castle Rock colorway, it's also received some really great collaborations like this one, the Joe Freshgoods collaboration. Now, like I mentioned, this collaboration is ridiculously limited, and because of that, it goes for almost $2 grand, which is insane for a pair of New Balances, but the 992 in general, you still can find for close to retail on resale sites. And although at the time of recording this video, you can't grab a pair of 992s on New Balance's website, I'm sure they will bring the sneaker back out over the next couple months to couple years, so just stay up to date on the release information for these shoes if you want a pair. And of course, if you do want to grab a pair of 992s, I've made sure to link them through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen and through the links in the description below. But now we get into the actual top 10 list, and starting things off at number 10, we've got the New Balance 574. The 574 is not only one of the least expensive shoes on the list, coming in at a retail price of $90, it's also one of the simplest and the cleanest. Being one of the older and more classic silhouettes on this list, it definitely features that timeless style that you can rock with pretty much anything. According to New Balance's website, this is the most New Balance shoe ever. Which honestly is kind of an accurate statement. I was making fun of it at first, but no, this is really the most New Balance shoe ever. The upper of the shoe comes in a decent suede material, accented by mesh on the toe, the tongue, and around the ankle area. And of course, you've got your reflective New Balance logo on the midfoot, the giant N, you can't miss it. The upper is pretty well padded, especially around the ankle area of the shoe. And when it comes to size, the 574 fits me true to size, but I have heard from other people that it can fit a little bit small, so maybe go up half a size if you're worried or if you have wider feet. Underfoot cushioning of this shoe is fine, but not incredible. You've got an EVA foam midsole with end cap cushioning in the heel. It gets the job done, but it's not going to be anywhere near as comfortable as most of the other shoes on this list. That being said, if you're looking for a casual everyday sneaker that's filled with New Balance legacy and history and DNA, this is a great way to go. Or if you're looking for that ultra simple and very minimal style, this is a good option. If, however, you're looking for the complete opposite of what we just talked about, look no further than number 9, the New Balance Fresh Foam X More V5. This shoe is not only one of the newest New Balance silhouettes ever made, but it's also one of the most plush. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of have trouble taking this sneaker seriously because of how much cushioning you get in the midsole. It's insane. I mean, I love crazy cushion shoes. In fact, stay tuned till later on in the list because we get to the most comfortable sneaker I've ever put on my feet. But before that, we've got to go through this, the X More V5, one of the plushest shoes ever made, at least from my own personal experience. This shoe is just like literally pillows underneath your feet. The most obvious standout feature on this shoe is just the like 2 inches of Fresh Foam X that you get underneath your heel. It's ridiculous. I'm genuinely surprised this is a real sneaker. It's wild. But hey, if you're looking for literally max cushion, there you go. For $155, you can buy, which I can only assume is the most cushion that New Balance has ever put into a sneaker. I can't confirm that, but just looking at it, I mean, you have to assume. They don't look this plush online, but then you get them in hand and I could barely hold it. It's that thick. So the New Balance Fresh Foam X More V5 is specifically crafted for comfortable and very long runs. If you're looking for that recovery sneaker or that max cushion shoe to run in, I mean, this is the way to go. This shoe features an engineered mesh upper, which is also pretty well padded. Obviously not as much as the midsole of the shoe, but still as much as you'd want on the upper of the shoe. It's relatively breathable and it looks, well, it looks ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie. Getting to the Fresh Foam midsole, it does not disappoint. It is so soft underfoot. I mean, it's as much as you would expect. It's literally like you're stepping into a marshmallow. And you gain a couple inches of height. So if that's something that you're looking for, this shoe will absolutely give you that. I'm not gonna lie, I struggle to wear this shoe casually because of how it looks, but if you are looking for max cushion or you're looking for that incredibly soft, everyday running sneaker that can help you with recovery runs, or maybe you have some knee problems or something like that, or if you're just trying to show off to your friends, hey look, I got the thickest shoe ever made. Genuinely though, this is a really well-made sneaker. It's very soft underfoot. It's got a very specific purpose, and to be real, if you're not looking for this exact kind of shoe, you're probably not gonna buy this shoe, but if you are looking for the ultimate in max cushion, it's it's hard to not grab this shoe. When it comes to sizing, I found that this shoe fit me pretty much true to size, and New Balance does offer wide and extra wide options in a lot of their sneakers, including this one. So if you have wider feet, you can still go true to size. And overall, I'd say go true to size. You should be good to go. And if you have wider feet, grab the wide foot option. Number 8, the New Balance 530s. This shoe is probably one of the best budget options on the list. It comes in at exactly $100 or $99.99. And it's kind of a perfect mix of classic 2000s running sneakers with some modern comfort and some very interesting aesthetics. Now, a couple years ago, people might have compared this shoe, specifically in this colorway, to the Nike Monarch, the barbecue specials, as I like to call them. But nowadays, the New Balance 530s are actually one of New Balance's more popular models, and it's worn fashionably. Like, the 530s are actually kind of hot right now. You can throw these on with a pair of shorts, pair of pants, whatever you want to do, and they look pretty clean. The upper of this shoe is essentially a wide mesh, which makes it very breathable. You've also got these metallic silver overlays, which definitely fit within that 2000s running sneaker trend. Of course, you got your classic New Balance logo, and you've got a really well padded heel area. Moving down on the shoe, you've got an absorbed midsole, which feels pretty soft underfoot. It's not groundbreaking softness, but it gets the job done. And all around, for $100, you're getting a very well-rounded package that's comfortable on foot and looks good. Now, when it comes to sizing, New Balance themselves actually says to go down half a size on their website. I went true to size and it was fine for me, but obviously I'd probably defer to what they say because they sell so many of these and they've probably tried out a bunch of pair of these. So I guess I would suggest going down a half size, but if you go true to size, like maybe you bought a pair in store and just didn't look on New Balance's website, you should be fine too. Styling wise, the 530 is a throwback to some of their more popular retro sneakers, and I will say that it definitely fits with that sort of retro modern look. I personally really dig the look of the paneling on the upper. I think it's really, really nicely done. This white colorway might not be for everybody, but I actually personally am planning to dip dye mine. I think that'd be a really cool look on this shoe, so maybe I'll give you guys an update once I do that and let you guys know how it actually turned out. But whether you like this colorway or not, the 530 in general is a solid sneaker, especially for a $100 retail price, and I do recommend checking it out. Number 7, the New Balance 2002R. So the pair that I'm about to unbox is a collaboration pair that's completely sold out and resells for some decent money, so don't expect to find this pair in stores. However, there are a lot of really solid colorways available in stores right now and on New Balance's website through the links in the description below. In case you're interested though, this particular colorway is the Salehi Bembury New Balance 2002R. It's the first colorway to release back in 2022? I actually don't remember offhand. But this colorway just shows how versatile the 2002 silhouette is. You can put a bright color like this, bright orange, on this shoe, and it still looks incredibly clean. So the 2002R is a revival of the classic 2002 silhouette, which first released back in 2010 as a follow-up to the 2001. The naming scheme is a little bit complex there, but I think you guys understand. Originally designed as a running sneaker, the 2002 and now 2002R is primarily a lifestyle sneaker, which feels incredible on foot. Primarily because of the absorbed midsole and the absorbed SBS in the heel, which makes it pretty soft underfoot but not too mushy. The upper of the shoe is also pretty well padded, and as you can see, specifically on this colorway, but also through the B-roll that I'm showing you on screen of the other colorways, the materials in the upper of the shoe are very premium. Personally, my favorite thing about the 2002R is the design of the shoe. I just think visually it's a gorgeous sneaker. The paneling is well done, accented by this interesting midsole detail on the heel of the shoe. Everything about it just gives it that classic retro vibe, but it still looks good in this modern era of sneakers. It's still comfortable even to this day, 14 years after it first released, and the 2002R, specifically in this colorway, even though it's a crazy bright colorway, is a shoe that I throw on a very regular basis. When it comes to sizing, at least for me, this shoe does fit true to size, and that is pretty much what I'd recommend to anyone else, unless you have super wide feet, in which case maybe go up half a size. But for $145, you're getting a very premium sneaker that looks incredible and is comfortable on foot all day. But man, stay tuned for number 1, because that shoe might be my everyday go-to. Number 6, the New Balance 550. First dropping back in 1989, the New Balance 550 was originally released as a basketball performance sneaker, and then in 2020, it was re-released as a low top through an ALD collaboration, which is one of my favorite sneaker releases of that year. But since then, the New Balance 550 Low has become one of their most popular models, and because of that, they've released so many different colorways of this shoe, like this one, the black, white, gray, and cream colorway, which I absolutely love. In fact, I picked up this colorway specifically for this video, even though I've owned multiple pairs of 550s, and I'm really excited to rock it, because look how clean it is. So you may or may not know this about me, but I have a weird love of 80s basketball sneakers. I mean, it makes sense, because I'm a big Jordan head. But shoes like the Adidas Forum or Adidas Top 10s and the New Balance 550s are right up my alley. So having a new version of this shoe with new materials that really fit that sort of lifestyle aesthetic are just so fire to me. For example, this shoe comes with a mesh toe area. You've got this really nice gray suede on the mud guard. You've got tumbled leather and then this like almost velour style New Balance logo. I'm really into that. And then this cream color pre-aged looking midsole, which I actually really dig. Now technology wise, the 550 is nothing special. I mean, it's an 80s basketball sneaker, so the cushioning in this shoe is not great. You do get some cushion through the insole that they put inside the shoe, but it's not a lot. The upper of the shoe is well padded, but it's not incredibly breathable. So you would grab this shoe as just an everyday lifestyle sneaker and not something you'd buy for any kind of performance use. But in my opinion, when it comes to style, this shoe is super easy to rock. I mean, you could throw it on with pretty much anything, shorts, long pants, it doesn't matter. Depending on the colorway that you get, it can match with pretty much anything. I think this colorway in particular could match with literally anything. And I mean, the retail price for this shoe, at least for the quality of materials that you get, in my opinion, is unbeatable at $110. This shoe is super, super high quality for that price, and there's a bunch of different colorways available for sale right now. When it comes to sizing and fit, I would recommend grabbing this shoe true to size if you have narrow or regular width feet. If you have wider feet, maybe go up half a size, but generally I do think true to size is the way to go. And although throughout this list we're going to talk a lot about retro running sneakers because that's kind of just the vibe right now, everyone's into that, there's definitely still a place for 80s basketball sneakers, and this is probably one of my favorite pairs outside of the Jordan 1 available on the market. And certain colorways like this one in the 550s, I actually kind of think gives the Jordan 1 a run for its money, which is wild to say because the Jordan 1's my favorite sneaker of all time, but this is up there for me. Now, I don't know if you've been wondering what those fire socks on my feet are during the on-foot portion of this video, but if you have been, it's my sock brand Apothecary. We make some of the most comfortable, breathable, and good-looking socks available on the market. They match with all the sneakers in your collection, and you can grab them right now through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen or through the link in the top of the description below. And I mean, if you're looking to take a shoe that's not very comfortable like this and make it more comfortable, I definitely recommend grabbing a pair of Apothecary socks. Number 5, the New Balance 1080 V13. This is a shoe that New Balance calls their flagship running sneaker. They said if they only made one running sneaker, this would be it. And I've got to say, all around, it is a really great running shoe. The New Balance 1080 V13 is the latest sneaker in their 1080 line, and it features all of the newest technology. You've got a really well padded upper that features engineered mesh, which is surprisingly breathable. In fact, this is probably one of the most plush uppers on the entire list. I mean, it really just hugs your foot and pillows. It's wild. The midsole of this shoe is made up entirely of Fresh Foam X, which is very soft underfoot. Like, this is truly a no-nonsense everyday running sneaker. It gets the job done, you look good in it, you feel good in it, and you can wear this to the office after work or to the gym, and no one's gonna bat an eye. They're gonna be like, okay, cool, that's a dope pair of sneakers. Oh wow, you ran on them this morning? Cool. Never would have guessed because they look good. I don't know where I'm going with this. All I'm trying to say is that these shoes are versatile. That's it. They're very versatile. They're incredibly comfortable on foot, and sizing wise, they do fit pretty much true to size, but they also come in wide and extra wide if you have wider feet. When it comes to pricing, these come in at a reasonable $165, which is pretty fair, I'd say, for like a top of the line running sneaker. And this is the kind of reliable running sneaker that you should be able to put hundreds of miles into with no issues whatsoever. Sure, stylistically, it might be one of the more plain and honestly kind of boring sneakers on the list, but it's incredibly comfortable on foot, and if you're looking for just a great everyday sneaker to just do whatever you're doing, this is the shoe to go with. Number 4, the New Balance 990 V6. The 990 line is not only one of the most popular New Balance lines of all time, but also probably one of my favorite sneaker lines of all time. And the 990 V6 is the latest pair from that line. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I did repackage these shoes just to keep with the continuity of this video, so it looks like I'm pulling them out of the box, but I have been wearing these a bunch. I didn't buy a second pair, and that's mainly because they're kind of expensive. These shoes are actually the most expensive pair of shoes on the list at $200, and I was gonna buy the Action Bronson pair, but they go for like $500 now, so I just didn't want to spend that money. That being said, while yes, these shoes are expensive, I do think they're absolutely worth it. The New Balance 990 line has always been their flagship line. It started out as primarily a running sneaker, and while yes, these are still running sneakers, New Balance does make other shoes, which I would recommend over these for running sneakers, but they can still be running. But over the last couple decades, the 990 line has become much more lifestyle focused than running focused, and honestly, I think they're just great all-around shoes. So this is the 990 V6 or version 6. It's the latest sneaker from that line that released last year, and it has this really cool mashup of like retro styling with some futuristic hits that I absolutely love. Now at this point you might be thinking to yourself, why is this shoe $200 when all the other shoes are like around $150, $160? Well, the reason for that is because the 990 V6 features a lot of premium materials. I mean, right off the bat, you've got these super plush suede overlays, you've got this really nice mesh, and it actually feels like a more premium mesh. I know mesh is mesh, but some meshes do feel more expensive than others. You've got fuel cell foam in the midsole, which makes this probably the most comfortable pair of 990s that's ever existed. It's just so soft underfoot without feeling too soft. And the 990 V6 is made primarily in the United States, at least primarily assembled in the United States. Now when it comes to fit, this shoe isn't like all the other shoes on the list in that it doesn't fit completely true to size. I would say that this shoe does run a little bit big, so if you're grabbing a pair of these, maybe go down half a size. In fact, 990s in general do tend to run a bit large, specifically the 990 V5, so if you're grabbing any 990s, I usually would suggest going down half a size. I went true to size in this pair, and it's fine, mainly because I wanted to review this pair and give you guys honest feedback on the sizing and the fit, and I did find that it did run a bit big, so there you go. One other thing I should mention is that although this is the latest version of the 990 sneaker, New Balance still makes a lot of their other 990 shoes, and all of them are absolutely incredible. I would recommend every single pair of 990s, whether it's the V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, or V6. I think my personal favorite outside of the V6 might be the V3 or the V4, but they're all good, they're all comfortable. This one probably is the most comfortable just because it's the most modern and features the most modern tech, but realistically they all look great and feel great and give you that classic New Balance aesthetic. In my opinion, compared to most other $200 sneakers from other brands, the New Balance 990 V6 is the highest quality. This shoe features great materials, great construction, great aesthetics, very comfortable underfoot. It's just a great all-around shoe and I absolutely recommend it, even for that price point of 200 bucks. Number 3, the New Balance Fuel Cell Rebel V4. This shoe is incredible to me because this shoe topped my list for the most comfortable sneakers of 2024, and even though I've tried new sneakers since then, I still think that this is probably the most comfortable shoe of the year. Now yeah, this is another pair that I put in the box to make it match with the rest of the sneakers in the video. I don't have a new pair of these because I've been wearing this pair so much. Just want to keep things consistent, you know? So, boxed it up. This is one of my favorite sneakers of the last couple years, not just because it's super soft underfoot, but also because it's an incredible running sneaker. Over the last couple months, I've started running again, and I've been running in a lot of different sneakers, Mizunos, Nikes, and New Balances, and this is a shoe that I find myself going back to consistently. First off, the Fuel Cell Rebel V4 is incredibly light. It's the kind of shoe that you throw on and you forget that you're wearing it. I mean, just look at the upper. It's this super thin mesh, which not only makes it super breathable, but also it's basically a sock-like fit, and once you put it on and tighten it up, you just don't even think about it. And then of course the marquee feature of this shoe is this very thick and very soft Fuel Cell foam midsole. This midsole is incredible. It's so soft underfoot, but it's also very responsive. When you run in this shoe, the Fuel Cell midsole gives you that nice cushion when you land, but it also springs you into your next step. It feels amazing and it helps you run longer than you usually can. Like I said, I just started running again recently, and I'm not a very good runner, but this shoe helps me run significantly longer than I usually do. Kind of feels like cheating, maybe not as much as the Nike Zoom Alpha Flies, but it definitely gives you that very soft, almost like cheat code like run. I personally use this shoe as like an every other day running sneaker. Some people use it as like a recovery running shoe because of the soft plushness. I mean, it's definitely a max cushion shoe, and if that's what you're looking for, it's hard to recommend anything else. I mean, we talked about an insanely max cushion shoe earlier on in the list, and while yes, that shoe is probably a little bit more plush underfoot, this shoe I think is all around just a better package. But the reason I love this shoe so much is not just because it's a great running sneaker, but because it's so versatile. This is a great everyday shoe just for casual wear as well. And sure, this colorway in particular is probably best suited to be a running sneaker, but there are other colorways that you can grab which are much more muted that you can wear to the office or wear to the store, wear as your everyday sneaker. It doesn't matter. And if you're wearing this as purely a lifestyle shoe, it's stupid comfortable. Like, it's so soft underfoot. And what's even wilder is the price point. This shoe comes in at just 140 bucks, which makes it one of the cheaper shoes on the list and also one of the most comfortable. For me, when it comes to sizing, this shoe fits me true to size, but I do think it could be wide enough for wider footers to still go true to size and be fine, but of course it isn't a bad idea to go up half a size if you're really unsure about the width. That being said, New Balance does make a wide version of this shoe, as they do with a lot of their running sneakers, so you could grab the wide version if you have wider feet. That might be the best way to go. But incredible shoe overall, and still in my opinion the most comfortable sneaker of the year. Number 2, the New Balance 9060. In terms of what I see most on people's feet, the New Balance 9060s are it. This shoe isn't a special performance shoe. It wasn't specifically designed to be a running sneaker or anything like that. It was literally designed as a hybrid between two sneakers, specifically to be a lifestyle shoe. This shoe is essentially a modern and somewhat futuristic take on the New Balance 990 line. It fuses that classic runner aesthetic with this modern and futuristic midsole, which is one of the wilder midsoles that I've seen on any pair of sneakers. In terms of materials, the 9060s are solid on a lot of colorways, or even most colorways. You've got this really nice premium feeling mesh covering a majority of the upper, and then on top of that you've got these suede overlays. I personally really dig this gray Castle Rock colorway. I think it's fire. Also, there's some really fire collaborations that you can go with, like the Joe Freshgoods 9060s, which are super clean. The midsole of the shoe not only features a wild aesthetic, but also absorbed cushioning and SBS, making this a pretty comfortable shoe underfoot. foot. It's not going to blow you away with like a pillowy underfoot feel, but it definitely is one of those shoes you can throw on all day and you're going to feel good at the end of the day. And you pair the midsole cushion with the well-padded upper, and it's the kind of shoe that just feels good on foot. Although the most prominent inspiration on this shoe is from the 990 line, which you can see definitely in the upper of the shoe, you do have some 80/60 inspiration, which is the other shoe that this shoe is inspired by, in the diamond traction pattern. I realize that it's minimal, but it is there. And for $150, this shoe isn't really going to break the bank. It fits true to size, and it's got a very unique aesthetic, which is one of the reasons why I think this shoe is so incredibly popular. Number 1, the 1906R. I've got to admit that this shoe has become my favorite pair of New Balances, and a pair that I wear on a very regular basis. Well, not exactly this pair, this is a brand new pair, but my pair of ALD 1906Rs. But I think the reason I find myself breaking out this shoe so much is not just because it's very comfortable on feet, but because it's incredibly trendy. The 2000s running vibe is huge right now, and this shoe is like a perfect example of that. And sure, I do think that this trend is definitely going to die out in the future, but this is one of those shoes that I think could live on past that trend. The 1906R is an updated version of the classic 1906, which was named after the year that New Balance was founded, 1906, and aesthetically, this new R version of the shoe looks very similar to the original 1906. As you might be able to tell just from the way that this sneaker looks, the 1906 was originally designed as a running sneaker, and because of that, the new 1906R, while yes, mostly worn as a lifestyle shoe, can be running. Would I wear this as a running sneaker over some of the other running sneakers that we've talked about on today's list? Probably not, but you can run in it if you need to. If you're escaping from someone, which I guess is a pretty extreme example, if you don't have a pair of shoes with you on a trip and you need to go for a run, you can run in these as well. One of the details on this shoe that really stands out to me and that I really like, and is also a common trait between 2000s running sneakers, are these thin metallic overlays. In this silver and gold colorway, they obviously come in silver and gold, and I think it gives the shoe a very unique and sort of like retro future look. The upper of the shoe comes primarily in mesh, which makes it incredibly breathable. You've got this really nice padding around the ankle area and on the tongue. And the midsole of the shoe comes with Activa light cushioning, and you've also got Absorb SBS in the heel, making it even softer underneath your foot. And although sure, this technology is like 20 plus years old, it still feels great underfoot. When it comes to fit, I'd say that this shoe does fit pretty much true to size, and that's what I recommend for you if you are grabbing a pair of these. And comfort-wise, it feels great on foot. It's not like the softest underfoot shoe in the world, but again, it's like a 20 plus year old shoe, so it's not going to be the softest shoe out there. That being said though, it is still incredibly comfortable, and for people who don't like overly cushioned feeling sneakers, then this is a great way to go, because it's going to give you enough of a cushion to feel good, but also a firm enough ride that you don't feel like you're walking on a mushy surface. I also really dig this colorway. I just picked up this black, silver, and gold colorway this past weekend for this video. I have some other colorways of this shoe, and this might be my new favorite, even over... This might be crazy to say, but maybe even over the ALD collaboration colorway. This colorway I've been wearing constantly, but there's something about this black, silver, and gold which I think is just a little bit more, I don't know, maybe it's just because it's a new pair of sneakers and I just like new pairs of sneakers, who knows. Either way, an incredibly clean pair of shoes that you can grab right now through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen if you want to grab a pair for yourself, which I do recommend. In my opinion, anything around the $150 range is a pretty middle of the road price, especially when some of the other New Balances that we've talked about on today's list are 200 plus, and of course Jordans nowadays are 200 plus. In my opinion, $150 is still a pretty reasonable price to pay for a pair of sneakers. Genuinely, I don't think there's anything about this sneaker that I don't like. It's very comfortable on foot, it's breathable, it looks really, really cool. You've got this like really interesting New Balance logo on the side, which incorporates some of the lace loops. The laces also come with this weird bobbly shape, which I'm assuming helps them stay laced, which not all pairs of laces can do, which is crazy to say. Everything about this shoe is just different and so well thought out. I just love it. But hey, that pretty much wraps up the list for today. Let me know your thoughts on this list in the comment section down below, whether you liked it, whether you thought I missed anything. Let me know all those thoughts.